Now, this video isn't going to be what you're expecting. No, I don't have no fake guru story about how I had a single mom who could hardly feed us and worked 12 jobs, and I didn't have Wi-Fi, and my brother was retarded. I didn't get bullied at school. Half of you guys probably don't believe any of that stuff anyway. Well, unless the guy's doing Etsy or e-com or something like this, then he probably was bullied at school. But I just had a normal upbringing. Nothing too crazy growing up. Played a bunch of sports, went to school, all of that stuff, right? Now, when I was at school, I didn't really have a sense of direction. I wasn't adamant on getting a job, so I didn't go to sixth form. I actually went to college, and at college I studied business. Now, this was a real eye-opener for me, because when I was there, I was learning business from someone who had never even run a business before. Like, make it make sense. I was learning business by someone who earns 20 to 30k a year. Not a month, a year. Don't go to college and study business. Just drop out, get a job like I did, work 3-4 days a week, hustle hard in those 3 days so you can get as much cash as you can, but then leave those other days free so that you can go and make progress in your own business. Now, this is something which I done. Obviously, I wouldn't be telling you it if I didn't, and it was super, super good for me. Now, most people would go and get, let's say, a construction or electrician job, which might pay more at the time, but then you come home, you're tired, you've got up at 5, get picked up in the shitty van, gone to work all day, grafted, come home, and you have no energy. You can just about get gym in before you literally conk out and go to sleep. Whereas I chose to work in a supermarket. Now, this was a tactical move, although at the time I was second guessing whether it was even the right tactical move to make, because everyone else just thinks you failed. Everyone else just thinks you've given up. Everyone thinks you've got no hope because you're 19 and you're just going to go work in a supermarket 3 days a week and do fuck all in the rest of your time. It doesn't sound very good to other people when you say it, and people treat you like you've already failed in life. I wanted more, I didn't want to just make enough money to pay the bills and that's it, I didn't want to pay to live, because then essentially the cliche saying is you're a slave. You work so you can afford a house and afford to eat and nothing else. Obviously, it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows, right? I wasn't always living on 50 plus floors. I wasn't always sitting here, being able to actually relay information to people which they can go and take action and be successful with. So all the knowledge I'm going to tell you isn't, how to last 10 plus years in the game, because I haven't lasted 10 plus years yet, I'm humble enough to know that I still have to work every single day as hard as I can in order to last that long, because it's not easy. Anyone can have a successful 2-3 years in business, but it's those who last decades and decades and decades are the ones that are to be respected, So I'm not going to teach you how to last 10 plus years. I'm going to tell you about how to get from zero to where you want to be as quick as possible, because that's what we did. We scaled from 0 to 100k a month just within 3 months. So I'm not going to say it's going to be easy to do that, but anyone can do it, because if I can do it, I'm not super smart, my IQ isn't on crazy extremes. I just have discipline, and I know the power of consistency, because consistency compounds, and that's something which not a lot of people know. And I think, I'll rephrase that, I think a lot of people know, but no one can actually go and achieve that because they don't have the discipline. The two are combined, right? Let's take it back a step. How did I get to where I am now? I first failed a lot. So like I said, I've only been successful for the last 1.5 years, but before that, what people don't know is I had a lot of failures through SMA, copywriting. I had a clothing line, started a vending machine company. I have that mentality is I'm going to try, fail, so I can get that one win, because I know when that one win comes, it's going to far outgrow all the losses that I took. So let's start with the first venture, which was a vending machine company. Now, this came at the same time as the bull market was coming around. So this was, I think, around 2021, when I first was kind of learning a little bit about business, starting to change my mindset. And all these years where I thought I was failing, I was just building the foundation. I was building the blocks. You will get tired and you'll still have to go and put in a couple more hours. You will feel really brain dead, but you'll still have to go and put in the reps. And now, after 2+ years of doing that, I can go and I can hit insane numbers. I can go and work 90, 100 hours a week like it's nothing. And people will think that it's not good for your mental health. They'll think this, but I think being broke is a lot more worse for your mental health. Not being able to afford bills, not being able to go and travel when you need your head cleared, not being able to go and do nice things, If you have all of the same struggles, but then you can't go and find your vices, let's say, you're left with nothing. And life is really depressing. I knew that is what life would be unless I made a change. So let's take it back to the vending machine, right? How did it go wrong? Now, this business didn't really go wrong. I just didn't really get started, and I'll tell you why. So the vending machine costs about £2,000 to buy. And then you have to go and put like 50, 60 pounds worth of obviously stock in the machine, because obviously you buy it in bulk from the wholesalers. And then you might make £300-400 a month on that machine. So you're sitting at like £350, £250 profit a month, which isn't bad for the minimal investment you're putting in. Now, it's literally, I like to call it real estate on a small scale. You might buy a house for 20 grand and rent it for £2,000 a month. It's the same. But I wasn't in the perfect position to do this. I can't invest all of my money into machine and just earn an extra couple £100 a month, save for a year, buy another one. It's too slow. I needed 10, 20k a month now. I needed it ASAP. So I could go and achieve and do what I wanted to do from a young age. And you can't do that in real estate. So once I understood this, and once I understood that the bull market was approaching, and it was a nice time to buy crypto and make crazy amounts of X's, I sold that machine and I put my money in crypto. Now, with crypto, I managed to do well. I took advices from friends who were in the kind of space at the time, and I managed to turn that a couple of thousand all the way into 30, 40,000 at its peak. Now, you might think, wow, that's amazing, Tom. You made such a good amount of money at just a young age. No, I never took out. And this is a lesson I learned, is to always take profits and not be greedy. Not be greedy when you're making good amounts of money, because there'll be days where I'd make a couple thousand in that day from doing nothing. There'll be nights where I'd lose 5,000, 10,000 just in one night, and that's happened before. And when you wake up and you check your portfolio and you see 10k's gone, it was actually after the Russia-Ukraine incident. It was a nightmare. I thought I was dreaming. But it's a lesson, because now I'm on the right end of it. I've taken my lessons and I can go and I can invest again in this current bull market that we're in now, which a lot of you guys or a lot of people who might have got stung once think that crypto is a scam and they're not going to go and do it again this year. You're just pussies, to be frank. You can't be naive and think that you're going to win every time. And now I've kind of trained my brain to be accustomed and make sure I take my profits. And the old saying in crypto is it takes a couple bull runs to get it right. And this bull run, I'll definitely get it right, because I'm not an idiot and I learn from my mistakes. So those were my first kind of fails in business. Now, after this, I had a vision, and I really wanted to build something that could last for 10, 20 years, which was a clothing line, and something that kind of represented my personality, something that represented what I wanted to achieve in life. And I wanted this brand to grow with me as a person from zero all the way up to being in the top 1%, right? Now, the brand was called 1% UK. We was a streetwear brand where we were doing like tracksuits, t-shirts, all these sorts of things. But the problem was, although I had the vision, although I had the message, I didn't have the capital. I put every single penny that I had into the first drop, and it didn't go as planned. And then I'm sat there with zero money, zero cash, just a bunch of stock that I can't even sell. So it was just a nightmare again, and it was my second business loss. Now, although I could have been patient and saved up in my job to go and get another batch and then do some ads, and then it might not have worked again. So I decided to just cut my losses. Now, I first came around OFM in about, I'd say July 2022. Now, I saw that when I entered another community online. I was actually doing copywriting at the time. I had to make that year work. If that year didn't work, who knows what I would be doing now. And that's when I kind of learned a lot about myself. When your back's against the wall and you have no choice but to make something happen, magic happens and you can actually do it. Even though in my brain I didn't think I'd go and earn 10k a month in that year. My target was to make 3k a month online as a copywriter. We actually smashed that, but I left it to the last month, and I'll get onto that. So I saw OFM online, and I was working on copywriting, working. I was seeing people go from 0 to 10k a month in OFM, and I'm thinking, don't get shiny object syndrome. Don't do it. Like, stick to the plan. It will work. You've got a couple more months. Let's put it in. Working every day. No progress. Outreach. No clients. And then I managed to get a couple, and I thought, wow, I've had my breakthrough. I've got a couple clients now. All I have to do is show them my value, scale up their business, and then I have more portfolio, and I can go and get that person. Before you know it, I'd have about 10, 20 clients and I'd be on about 10k a month. Now, although that seems good to the average person listening, do you know how much stress, how much responsibility comes with having 10 to 12 clients under, let's say, SMMA, because it's the same thing? It's a lot, and out of that 10k that you'd be getting in retainers, you'll probably be spending 50-60% of that on your staff. So you're taking on all this responsibility, you're on WhatsApp chatting every single day to the clients, and you get left with nothing but stress and headache. It was not worth it. I was putting in 25-hour days, not even 24, 25-hour days, not sleeping, doing an extra hour just to get one up. My business partner, who's doing similar stuff, but in a different industry. And, I was thinking, I kept seeing OFM pop up and I kept pushing it to the side. And then I went to a meetup in London with a couple guys who were also making money online, and happened to be one person there that had just done his first month in OFM and done over 15k profit. And that made me think twice. I'd already fuck twice, like 10, 11, 12 times. I've already thought so much about it, but I never made that jump. Because when you see people online, it's easy to see, oh wow, he makes money, but surely it's too good to be. Surely I can't go and make that much money in the industry. But you can. When I saw this person who was the same age as me, went to a similar school to me, similar background to me, wasn't crazy smart, was just normal person just like me, making 15k a month in his first month, I was like, I saw that. And when I went home, I spoke to my friend, and we jumped on the agency together. So this is the time where I cut everything, and I said to Mason, who was currently doing trading at the time, I said to him, listen bro, it's been a couple of years you've been trading, it's been a couple of years I've been trying to make cash in other areas. We don't have a choice now. We're getting to that age, we've been at Waitrose, you've been at Tesco's for a couple of years, and we're still here. People don't respect us. Our own family don't really 100% believe we're going to make it anymore, because we've been saying this for a couple of years now. We've had those same conversations with the same people over and over and over again, but we're still in the same scenario we was in. It's becoming a joke. Like, it was embarrassing. I had pride, I had ego. I was walking around Waitrose like I was worth fucking 10 mil. That's how much faith I had in myself, and how much faith I had that I was going to make it. But I just wasn't there yet, so it hurt me so much inside. So we went for a long run. It was about 15k, and it was in the rain, there was thunder, and we were just talking, and we just came to the agreement that we were just going to start OFM. So that's what we did. It was a time where I learned a lot about myself, because when you constantly fail and you don't even have confidence in yourself anymore because you failed over and over and over again, but for some reason you just don't give up, and for some reason you just keep pushing, that's when you'll grow as a person. When it's 4 a.m. and you're either awake and haven't slept, or you've got up that early just to make some progress before work and gym, that's when you really grow as a person, when you're still at that zero stage. Now it's impossible for me not to wake up early and mash work, or stay up late and mash work, because I've got 20 plus employees that are relying upon me to feed them and their families every single month. How can I go and be lazy? It's impossible. I just couldn't do that to them. I couldn't not provide a good service for my clients. I couldn't not go and help out all my employees that put their time and they effort into me and their loyalty, and I trust them. I couldn't go and stab them all in the back by just being lazy for a couple of days. I just can't do it. So when I was in that early stage, and I didn't owe anyone anything, all I owed was myself, and I had to find that self-love, that self-respect, to go and put those hours in to change my situation. And I did it by brute force. I didn't just hit the lottery. We had to put in those reps every single day. And I know people brush this over, because so many people talk about this. Almost every single successful person, when they talk about their story, is they'll talk about that initial phase. But everyone brushes it off. But this isn't something to be brushed off lightly, because this is something, and this is a situation which most people are scared of. Most people are too much of a coward to even stay in that battle for long enough. They'll try it for a week and then they'll drop out. They'll try it for a couple of days and they'll lock out. But imagine being in that battle day after day, year after year, and still not seeing any success. If I spending time with my family, not even coming home for dinner, just staying in the office, putting the hours in. When I say the office, I mean Mason Shed. For a good 3 months, I wasn't even present in the household. For a good 3 months, I was putting in 18 hours a day. For a good 3 months, I was only doing things that would benefit the business, not benefit myself physically, mentally, making me happy. No, I didn't care about that. All I cared about was the business. And that's something that everyone has to go through. And it's something which is bigger than yourself. You can't be selfish anymore. You have to just dedicate yourself 100% to the business. Otherwise, you've literally got no chance whatsoever. And it's hard because you can do it for a week. You can do it for 2 weeks. Anyone can. But when it's month after month after month, and before you know it, you're in the game for a year and you're still sacrificing everything, and time flies, and you start to lose yourself because all you're caring about is the business, and people might see you as selfish, and people might say you're not helping them, and you start to make more money. It's hard to stay on track and it's hard to stay disciplined. But the real guys who really want to do what they say and make 10, 100 mil, they're the guys that will stay disciplined and focused, and the guys that will be satisfied with just making 10 to 20k a month and stay at that range for a couple of years before, the industry dies, and then they're fucked again and they have to build up from scratch. They're the guys that are constantly going out, constantly traveling, not staying dedicated, not going that extra mile for their clients. And although you can't see it now, in 1 to 2 years, it'll be very, very clear who was actually staying disciplined, who was actually putting work in. This isn't by be all or end all, This is just a nice stepping stone to get cash flow, high profits, so I can go and I can build other stuff which might last 10 to 20 years. But although you kind of learn a lot about yourself when you're coming up, and it can be quite a lonely, stressful, shit time, when you have that first win, everything is worth it. Everything is worth it when that first win comes, and it comes at a time where you can't even expect it. And it's making me smile now, reliving those emotions through my head as I'm explaining it to you, because it's beautiful. It is beautiful. You stick to the game plan and you stick disciplined and you put in the reps day after day after day, the same as if you was broke, still grinding like you're broke. The momentum builds so fast, It doesn't matter if you're at the beginning stage or if you're at that kind of stage where you've started to get your first win, you're ranging in the 5 figures a month mark. There's always more to learn, And this is where I was going, I was seeking advice from guys doing 6, 7 figures a month in the industry, and that's what really helped me get to that 200, 300, 400k a month mark, which we managed to hit, towards the end of 2023. And you think I would have got there just by myself? Of course not. You have to go and you have to learn, you have to be humble, and you have to take on information from people that have been there and done it. And that's something which not a lot of people like to do, because a lot of people have too much pride. They're too ignorant. They're a little bit stupid. Some guys will try and mask their lack of information with hard work, and that doesn't work. You could be working as hard as possible, but you might be going the wrong direction. If the bag's here and you're working as hard as you can to go that way, how are you going to make it happen, Along the journey, it wasn't all kind of sunny days. The clients that I have now and that we've been doing 400k a month with are not the same clients that I had in the early kind of stages of the year when we was doing like 200, 250k a month. They're completely different clients. So most people might think that, I had those models and then we managed to scale them throughout the year and we managed to make, like a 75% increase, 100% increase on that number. It wasn't the same. We literally went to zero at one point. We had massive changes in the business. We had a lot of people snake us and do us dirty. But when you're a clean-hearted person and when you work so hard and you know the game inside out and you do overtime when you're studying and you know the value of building connections and these sorts of things, you always win in the end. You always prevail in the end. And that's how we managed to keep it up. Not only go from those big numbers that we obviously started with and then kind of obviously die down. It only took us 1 month to build back up and scale even further than that. And this is where I can really kind of be confident and I can really have pride in that, because a lot of people would have burnt down. We went through a lot of stuff in that time, taken a lot of losses, where 99% of people would have quit. But we stayed at it. and we come through on the other end. I know in business, it's the same as a graph, right? There's ups and there's downs. There's not just upwards trajectory and it's not just a downwards trajectory. If you really work hard every single day, you're going to have ups and downs. So when we have those big months of 250k and in the early stages of 2023, I knew something was coming, you know. Everyone knows that feeling where life is just a little bit too smooth. I was out, you know, traveling. We went from Dubai to, where did we go? We went to Prague after that. Then we went to Croatia. Then we went to Romania. Then we went to Marbella. Then back to Romania. We was literally bouncing from country to country to country to country with all the guys having so much fun. And I just knew life was a little bit too smooth. Now, although I was bouncing around, of course I was still working. Of course I was still making sure the operations were smooth. I never slack. But I could tell that there's no way I could have gone from nothing all the way up here just to go to the next level again. I knew a little setback was coming, but I didn't know how big it was. But most people, when they go through these setbacks, when they lose hundreds of thousands of pounds, they never make it back. But I knew, hold on a second, if I have lost a couple £100,000 here, I know that the next win is going to be 10 times bigger than that. So I had that faith to keep pushing and working every single day to go and make even more. Because I knew that it was coming. That's how the graph works. You know, you have a little retracement and then you go and hit all-time highs again. And that's exactly what we've done. Most people would have quit. Most people would have thought this isn't for them. But we pushed through, and now we're making more than just a couple £100,000 every single month. It's about who can do it on a 10 plus year scale. And that's why I'm working every single day. You can see from my free Telegram channel, we're in the trenches together, you know. This isn't just a one-way thing where I'm sat and I'm chilling out and I'm just telling some guys some information that's outdated like most of these guys. I'm here with you guys every single day. I know what works now. Not last week, not last month, not last year. I know what works now. I see people go from 0 to 30k in their first month inside the group. That's how you'll see people go from literally just 15k a month with one model and scale her to 500k in the last 30 days. Take that in. I'm going to say that again. 500k in the last 30 days. This is what people inside the group are doing from the value we're giving. Even more than myself, you know. Like I said, I'm humble. There's people in the group that have overtaken us. You know, we've got guys in there making 7 figures a month through their various different businesses. When you join, you're not with no Joe Schmoes, you know, you're with the big dogs. You need to make sure that when the money comes, you still grind like you're broke. And this took me about a year to realize. And it took me about a year to go and actually get into that mindset again. Because right now I'm in the mindset as I was when I was broke, when I was in that lonely stage where it was me against the world. I'm in that current mindset now, and it's a beautiful place to be, because this is the place when you'll make the most progress. You know, most of these guys will get to that point where they make just even like 10, 20k a month in OFM, and they start spending all their cash and they're not doing any single bit of work on future business or even the business that's making them the cash. And they're out and they seem like they're living this crazy life and they're in Dubai and they're in this country. But like I said at the start, 1 to 2 years later, you will see who stayed dedicated. You will see who really was about business. You will see who had that kind of character in them to go and chase more, to go and show everyone that they want hundreds of millions. Because most people lie and they listen to a little baby song and they want 100 mil. And then as soon as it comes to go and do 100 million pounds worth of work, they go and hide. At the moment, I'm in a period where I'm doing 16 hours a day and I'm comfortable with that. I'm comfortable with not getting instant gratification. I'm comfortable with building my crypto portfolio, and I'm comfortable with working on new business models which excite me. You know, I'm not going to stick to what I'm just comfortable with OFM. I'm going to go and work on more projects which I can build off the back end of OFM. And that's why it's so important to even get started in this industry, because you're going to learn every single social media skill you need to know, and you're going to have all the cash you'll need to build another business. Go and hustle, you know, go and show people who you really are, because anyone can have a good month, anyone can have a good couple of months, but if you're there years down the line, showing everyone, not just online, but you know, the people that really matter, like your family, your friends, the people you do it for, go and show them you are who you are, because at the moment they're proud of you, at the moment they have faith in you, so don't let them down. Now the next video I drop on here is going to be super important. I'm going to be going over how I've gone from 0 all the way to 400k a month through Instagram Reels. If you want to learn how to scale this operation completely organically, make sure you subscribe and hit the next video.